Hi, I'm a basic guy, and I'm here to talk about the basics. Are you hearing bumps in the night? Are the disembodied wails of the damned keeping you up at night? Do you wake up covered in ectoplasm? If you answered yes to any of these questions that can't be answered by a pet, a draft, or your creepy uncle, the chances are that you have a ghost on your hands. But before you go calling up the Ghostbusters or Luigi to vacuum up your ghost problem, let's take a moment to appreciate the spooky history of ghosts. The concept of ghosts is as old as recorded history. The Mesopotamians took the term dirt nap a little too seriously. They believed when you died, everyone went to Urkala, or the land of no return. Here, no matter how you lived, you ate dirt and drank mud water for all of eternity. Hooray. But don't worry, if you had an improper burial, or you needed to complete some sort of mission, you could get permission to leave and go haunt your friends and family members and curse them with sickness and disease until they offered you food and drinks. Hooray, ghost powers! The ancient Egyptians had their own brand of the afterlife and ghosts as well. See, they put a little more stock into how you lived your life than the Mesopotamians. And once you died, you went to the Hall of Truth, where your heart was weighed in a scale against a feather. If you were a good boy, then the feather was heavier, and you proceeded to the House of Reeds, where you lived out your life basically how it was on Earth. So you lived in the same house, you drank from the same well, you even had the same dog as you did in your regular life. But if you were a naughty boy, then your heart was thrown onto the floor and was eaten by a monster, and your soul was yeeted from existence. Since the House of Reeds was so similar to life, there wasn't much of a reason to go back to the world of the living. That is, unless someone really pissed you off. In these cases, the ghost of the person comes back to haunt the person that has wronged them until a priest comes in and judges between the two of them and calms everything down. It's basically the paranormal equivalent of going on to Mari. Even the ancient Romans took a break from conquering and marching Ides to record some of the first recorded ghost stories, like Pliny the Younger, who wrote about a house in Athens being haunted by a ghost with a long beard who rattled chains. In the story, the ghost scares away the home's occupants, leaving the house abandoned for some time, where it's eventually found by a philosopher named Athenodorus, who rents it out cheap since it's haunted and he doesn't believe in all that nonsense. He just needs a place to work, and that's just what he does, writing late into the night. Even when he's confronted by the ghost, he just ignores it for a bit and continues his work, while the ghost continues to rattle louder. Finally, the philosopher gets tired of all this and holds up his hand to shush him, while the ghost supposedly just awkwardly floats there, trying not to get pulled into the gravitational pull of the philosopher's stones. Finally, the wise old philosopher gives in and decides to see what all the chains and moaning is. And instead of finding your mom, he actually finds a grave where a man is buried, bound in chains. Chain guy gets a proper burial, the ghost is no longer heard from, everyone lives happily ever after. The end. As you can see, history is filled with stories of what happens after you eat the wrong color berries out in the forest and shoot yourself to death. But surely now in the modern world, we are all past all that, right? Right? Actually, if anything, us modern folk are more gaga for ghosties than the ancients ever were. In the 1840s, with the birth of the spiritualist movement, ghosts started getting more attention than ever. Spiritualism made ghosts less of an afterthought and brought them to the forefront. Spiritualists brought on the idea of mediums, who in turn brought on the idea of charging exorbitant rates to talk to spirits of the dead, and a lot of people bought into this spiritualist movement. One such sad case was the widow of famed escape artist Harry Houdini. During life, Harry had a fascination with the afterlife and with spiritualism. It was said that he had been to over 100 seances, and there was an ongoing $10,000 reward for anyone who could produce a paranormal or supernatural event that he couldn't explain. On his deathbed, Harry promised wife Beatrice, or Bess, that he would try to contact her from beyond the veil, and he gave her coded instructions so that she would know that it was from him. After Harry's untimely demise from a ruptured appendix on Halloween 1926, for the next 10 years Bess would wait on a sign from her dead husband that would never come, eventually giving up on the 10th anniversary of Harry's death after a final seance, stating that it was her, quote, personal and positive belief that spiritual communication in any form is not possible. I do not believe that spirits or ghosts exist. The Houdini shrine has burned for 10 years. I now reverently turn out the light. It is finished. Good night, Harry. End quote. While spiritualism may be as dead as the people it relies on to talk to, they're alive and well today. I'm talking about ghost hunting. It's everywhere, from the cereal you eat for breakfast to the cartoon you watch when you get home from school to the blockbuster movies you watch. And don't even get me started on the reality TV shows. The Paranormal television page on Wikipedia is embarrassingly enormous, spanning from the 1950s until now, and with such titles as $10 Million Bigfoot Bounty, The Antiques Ghost Show, and Deep South Paranormal. And I realize that first one isn't about ghosts, but I couldn't ignore the title. You can't click through 2 channels without stumbling across someone claiming to have been possessed, or seeing some night vision footage of absolutely nothing while some guy yells, "Did you hear that?" out to the silence. And yet we can't get enough of it. Ghost Adventures has a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. The original Ghostbusters has a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes for scale. Get up to the professionals on TV. For as little as $75 and as few as 6 lessons, you can become a certified paranormal investigator, thanks to the internet. That's right. You can be just like your heroes, minus all the charisma, expensive equipment, or the cool van. Otherwise, just like them. So get out there, knock on doors, make posters, and who knows, maybe your terrible television show will end up on this list with all the others. This has been The Basics. Tune in next week where I'll talk about the DMV.